what's up, my passionate little pickles? This is Rob from A Gay Guy Plays, and today on The Daily Grind, we're gonna have a little bit of a chat. In fact, I was very tempted to call this segment, Can We Talk? As a bit of a throwback to all of my AGGP veterans out there. Regardless, in a recent video, I asked you guys if you wanted me to do more topical content, and specifically what subjects you wanted me to touch on. Now, if I'm gonna be honest with you, we've got some great gems here. However, they are a bit heavier, they are a little more intense, and to be honest with you, I wanted to do something a little bit lighter. I was crossing my fingers that DE would go ahead and release the new mainline update today, so that we could get some light and levity in the dark, ominous clouds of the Warframe community. It's not really all that terrible, but you know, it gets a little bit rocky here and there. In fact, I was trying to dodge it so much that I put up a poll on the community tab where I said, hey, do you want me to cover, you know, a more heavy topic? Or would you rather I do some lighthearted Tenogen stuff? And they're like, cover the heavy topic. So you know what? We're gonna go ahead and get down to business. Y'all have spoken and I am ready to deliver. But all of the unsubs that come from this video, I'm blaming on you guys, okay? Now, I do have a little bit of a disclaimer. I actually went ahead and outlined all of the questions and the topics and everything that I wanted to hit on, and I do realize it's gonna sound a little bit harsh, but I want you to understand that it comes definitely from a place of love. I love Warframe. I have no intentions of quitting, just to make that clear to you guys. Well, at least at this point, I have no intentions of quitting, but sometimes you have friends that need a little bit of tough love. Sometimes you give them some love, and then sometimes you gotta be a little bit rougher with them, mainly because of the fact that if you're surrounded by nothing but yes men, you tend to make some really poor decisions, and as we've seen lately, DE hasn't necessarily been at their top. You know what I mean? They've done really great in the past, they can do great again, but at this moment in time, it's a bit of a dip. So definitely keep that in mind. The next thing that I wanted to point out and make very aware to you guys is I am blatantly, boldly, and proudly a Leo. I know that doesn't make any sense, but keep in mind, everything I say is very straightforward. I don't want anybody trying to read too deeply into anything else. I basically cover everything that I want to cover, and there's no like interpretations or secret meanings or underlying like messages that I'm trying to put out to you. So I just want to be very clear with that. So if you are Reddit levels of sensitive, I suggest you back away very, very slowly. Because it's gonna get really personal, and there are some things that I'm gonna bring up that are a bit on the sensitive side. But let's go ahead and start things off with something a tad bit light. Please wait asks, anyone else been burnt out for a few months now? No, I kind of laughed when I saw this comment because I was like, burnt out for a few months? Now, I published the video on January 5th of 2018. Yes, that's the kind of video that we're doing. I'm literally pulling up receipts, old videos, dates. I'll have them all linked down in the description box below, and if I can put them in the cards, I'll put them there as well. It was called What to Do When You're Done, and the thumbnail blatantly stated Warframe Retirement. Now, this isn't one of those I'm leaving Warframe videos. No, it was very much covering the topic of the content drought. So again, before anybody tells you that, oh, I've always been saying there was a content drought, January 5th of 2018, I addressed this topic, okay? But yeah, it was just talking about the fact that I love Warframe. I want to be able to continue playing Warframe, but there's really just nothing for me to do. So I'm not sure if that kind of like ends up on the burnout aspect of Warframe, but that is kind of like one of my current mental states. And I think that a lot of us can get on that same level. We're like, okay, what next? Speaking of what next, we have Ryan Angelo 1 asking, I'm curious on how you avoid burnout considering 2 to 3 content creators are quitting the game. This is a long topic, and I need you guys to strap in for this one because it's going to involve a lot of old repressed feelings. But the fact is, the reason that I avoid burnout in Warframe is because I don't take Warframe seriously anymore. And I know that sounds really bad, and I don't want it to sound bad, like I've lost the love, but it doesn't mean I don't enjoy the game. I like the game. I think it's a good bit of fun, and DE is good at making fun. not difficulty, not challenge, just fun. It doesn't mean that I'm not gonna, pull out solid builds, right? Or do my research on new mechanics that comes out. I'm gonna test everything, I'm gonna play everything, I'm gonna get into it as much as I can possibly get into it. But as you guys know, DE isn't very good at going deep. The only reason why I'm saying that I'm not taking it as seriously is that I just realize that I'm a part of the community that DE doesn't really care about. All of the dedicated players, all of the veterans, they just don't make content geared to us. And I mean, if we take a look at this, DE doesn't care about adding difficulty. They really don't. Every time they release content that is even slightly difficult, they roll it back. We've seen it in Fortuna. It had a nice chunk of difficulty, and then they're like, oh, people are struggling, let's pull it back. Now, they did bump it forward a little bit, but it's nowhere near as difficult as it used to be. In addition, arbitrations. Oh, I go in on arbitrations a little bit later. But legitimately, we had arbitrations where it should have been. Actually, not quite where it should have been. They actually slowed down the spawn rates before because they wanted to make sure that it wasn't too overwhelming. And I was like, why are you slowing down spawn rates? It's a challenge mode. And then they're like, okay, we're going to make spawn rates normal, but we're also going to force revives on you. And we're like, the whole point of the game mode was to not have revives. Like I said, we'll get into that later. And I'm like, so why do you introduce challenge just to roll it back? And lastly, this one's a little bit looser. We have ESO, right? Did we need Sanctuary Onslaught? If we had Elite Sanctuary Onslaught, the only thing that I could possibly think of is they just needed to find a place to put Korra. But in my brain, why do they consistently need to bargain down the difficulty of the game? It doesn't make any sense to me. And that's something that I think the veteran and dedicated communities are really looking for. Something that challenges us, because we have all this cool shit that we've sunk our time on earning, and we can't even use it on these things. They also don't care about retaining players. Let's just be real. DE does not care about keeping us engaged after a certain point. They have really shitty rewards. We legit just saw that with their Echoes of Umbra. Like, who thought that was a good idea? I mean, some people were like, oh, it seems interesting. That's kind of cool. But nobody was like, oh my god, I need that. That's the be-all, end-all. That's what I want. There's a lot of people that are like, I mean, I'll get it, but it wasn't anything like that we were drooling over. And so it makes me feel like they've lost perspective as to what good rewards are. Now, I know that there are some people out there that are like, well, what do you mean good rewards? More powerful weapons? Better arcanes? That's just gonna lead to power creep. Well, it all ties in together, because if they made more difficult content, it would be weapons and powerful things that matched up to the difficult content. But DE doesn't want to create difficult content, so they don't really care about, retaining players with good rewards. I'm just saying. And last but not least, this is where I really jumped into it. DE doesn't care about maintaining old game modes. I mean, if we look at it, when was the last time loot tables were really touched? And I'm going to break this down for you. If we look at ESO, the last two rewards that were launched were Peculiar Growth and Burning Ephemera. Now, in and of itself, you can see that these are kind of like fluff rewards. They're more fun rewards, but let's give them just the credits for those rewards being added. But Peculiar Growth was added May 17th, 2018. All right? Burning Ephemera was added March 8th, 2019. That is 10 months between them maintaining the loot tables for that specific section. And that's supposed to be one of the game modes that they introduced that was big, right? 10 months go by and we get nothing from that, right? But if we look at it from the addition of Peculiar Growth, right? From Peculiar Growth to now, it has been 1 year and 3 months since they have added anything that is, not fashion framey to the game mode. That's a long time to not add something into the game to maintain that game mode. So why would we be interested in playing that game mode anymore if it were not, if there are no new rewards being added? Now, continuing on with that, the last ZA that was added to Cetus was April 20th, 2018. 1 year and 4 months! 1 year and 4 months since we got a new ZA. That's kind of insane, right? I mean, listen, I'm pretty sure that was the last one. It was a Doctor in the Stung. Please let me know in the comments below if I fucked that up, because I may have, but I'm just putting that out there. In addition, there are no new kit gun parts since launch. So November 18th, 2018, 10 months later. And we saw all of those images of, you know, the mock-ups of the potential primary kit guns. Now, I'm not saying we should have primaries. I'm not, you know, don't read more into what I'm saying than what I'm saying. All I'm saying is we just haven't gotten any new additions. We haven't gotten a new arcane. I know that they did some balancing on them, but legitimately, there's no new content for 10 months. On that specific end. So part of me is like, you guys gotta do things to retain us, to keep us playing. What was I saying? I said something along the lines of, you get no retention because we're getting no attention. Like, if you pay no attention to us, we're not gonna stay. I'm sorry. That's the thing. So when I talk about avoiding burnout with Warframe, I just avoid it by not caring as much. Because really what I care about, and this is going to sound so fucking cheesy, I'm sorry, I'm really sorry, okay, I'm really sorry, but there's no dedication on their end to the players. However, what keeps me going is you guys. Like, I know that when something new comes out, you guys want to see it. You guys want to have a conversation about it. You guys want to talk about it. Whenever there's something that is floating around in the air, some subject that you guys want me to go ahead and chat about, whenever there's new fashion frames that come out, you guys are really what keeps me locked in and engaged. I'm like, oh, Warframe's like this fun little thing. I don't take it seriously because they don't take us seriously, but I take you guys seriously. I feel like a mother. And I know I always make jokes about it, but legitimately, I feel kind of like I need to take care of my babies. I need to make sure you know all of the information. That you guys are being guided in the right direction. So for me, because of the fact that DE really doesn't care about this specific segment of its community, I feel like I'm almost like need to step in and be like, it's okay, babies. We'll get through this together. I don't know what this is, but this is what we're doing right now. So I really appreciate you guys sticking with this channel, and let's be real, there have been dramas that have been flung out there, a lot of fake shit that's been said about me. Like, don't think I didn't catch that whole, he's only done 7 raids over on Reddit. Listen, I have a DM with Rebecca herself that I can actually pull up on screen and show you guys the conversation to tell you that it's not true. Just saying, if you ever want me to revisit some of those things that are a little bit more sensitive, leave your request down in the comments below. But legitimately, my dedication is more to you guys, and I don't have burnout when I have conversation with you guys. It's always the best time. But when it comes to Warframe, it's just, I just don't take it as seriously as I used to. And we'll actually move into another little bit right here. And this is not the main comment, but I think it's funny. Patricia Ray, I went ahead and asked, you know, what do you want me to cover? And she was like, problems in Warframe, lol, let's see. Content drought, DE ignoring veterans, Vauban rework, Nyx rework, Titania rework, make Ember great again, community thinking Railjack is gonna fix Warframe. Do you need anything more to talk about, Mr. Rob? And I'm like, you're an icon, honey, you're an icon. But it got into a little bit of a messy conversation because there was a little bit of a string that happened afterwards that got kind of dirty. So I'm not necessarily going to bring up this person's name specifically, but the comment I'm actually going to respond to is ignoring veterans because there's some kind of magical game mode that would keep veterans from blowing right through it and getting bored in less than a week. Yes, there is. I'm going to be honest with you, there is. I have plenty of ideas for things that would keep veterans engaged for a long period of time. But here's the real downer, and this is the real honest to God truth from my heart and soul. I almost don't want to put out other ideas for DE. I spent a lot of time, energy, and brain power like sitting here in front of my computer thinking, what is it that DE could do? And you guys know that whenever I talk about something in game, like an addition, I will always utilize mechanics that already exist. So it's never like outlandish. It's never something that is out of the realms of possibility. I always pull in things that are already there that they can tweak and adjust to make work for the game. And that's why we've seen several of my ideas make it into the game already. Like, one of the things was a video that I published on July 24th, 2018 called Endgame No Waiting. And in this, I talked about lethal runs having 0 to 1 base revives, and players need to bring their A game. Okay? So again, released July 24th, 2018. Arbitrations, the mode where if you die, or at least it used to be that way, was released October 12th. So that's about 3 months later, which I think is enough time to create a game mode, polish it, and put it out. So very clearly, there was some sort of influence there. Moving along, I also put out a video called The Veteran Problem, Prestige Through Progression, which was published on August 2nd, 2018, where I addressed visual prestige items with cool energy effects. What is that? I need to get that. That's my quote from there. And then on March 8th, 2019, Ephemera were released. Now, my issue with both of these, and this is kind of why I'm hesitant to provide any more feedback, I'm hesitant to talk about these game modes, is because every time I put something out there, DE finds a way to take that idea and casualize it. See, I'm here on my channel and I'm very dedicated to the veterans and the dedicated community of Warframe. The people who stay there through the content droughts, who grind out every single weapon, who boost up their mastery rank, who try to put max form of builds on all of their best Warframes, and are really pushing themselves to be the best Warframe players there are. I'm trying to work for you guys. I'm trying to really like stand up and say, hey, this community needs this. All right, before you lose this community, give them some attention, please. And so I'm trying to brainstorm things that will help that end of the community. But instead, what DE does is they casualize those things. And I'm just like, wait a second, why are you taking something that should be specifically created for players who want to challenge and make it less challenging? Literally, we added in burdens? Why do we want to be burdened with less skilled players? And that's what it feels like when we come to Arbitrations. Arbitrations is supposed to be this segment where all of the Warframe community comes together and puts out their best. They put on their best builds, and to be honest with you, that's what I loved about like that first week of Arbitrations. I was seeing Warframes in there that I'm like, we're 45 minutes in this, are you still alive? You are still alive. Listen, I need to go back to that Warframe, figure out how the hell they were able to do that entire time, come up with a new build. That's inspiring. That keeps me retained, because now I'm like, I can't, I'm not as good as a Banshee as this person is. Now I gotta up my game. I gotta be as good as that damn Banshee or that damn, Ninja or whatever Warframe you catch in there, like surviving like a mofo and dealing like crazy amounts of damage, or surviving through odds that they shouldn't be surviving in. Like, that was the great thing about Arbitrations, and now we have a bunch of leechers that literally just sit there and just expect you to revive them even though they keep dying every 5 minutes, and you can't help it because these fucking drones are popping up and you need to kill the drones, and then you get burdened. Why are you casualizing something that was really interesting and was really inspiring for dedicated players? And then on top of that, when we talk about things like Ephemera, like, they even casualized freaking, they casualized cosmetics. See, my original intent with all of that was ephemera that were earned versus achievements. You go into the challenges, you complete your challenges, and as you complete each group of your challenge, you get an ephemera. But instead, DE just copped out on that. They casualized it. No, don't worry about, achieving things in the game. Just cross your fingers that RNG is going to get you that drop, Just cross your fingers. Stay farming in the mission, that 1% drop, that 3% drop. Cross your fingers that you get it. And I'm like, we could have earned that through achievements. Now, of course, DE did backtrack a little bit, and they started adding it into night waves as a guaranteed reward, and they did say that in the future, they would be adding them in as something that was achievable, but when they launched it, they casualized it. And to me, when I'm doing my best to kind of like work for that end of the community, when I'm really trying to keep, all of these people engaged, to tweak it and make it a casual thing, a part of me says, yes, you know what? There is a magical mystical game mode, and I bet you anything I could put it together. In fact, I've probably already got several ideas. Not only that, because I could probably hear some people's gears turning saying, well, how could you add new loots to these game modes without diluting? I've got ideas for that too. I've literally got usable ideas for the entire game, but a part of me is very hesitant to put any of it out. Because what DE will do is they'll take that idea and then they'll go ahead and casualize it. And that's not what I'm here for. I'm here for the dedicated player base. I'm here for the veterans. I'm here for even the new players that want to become dedicated players and veterans. Those determined ass folks to get every single combat, to get every single weapon, to get every single Warframe, to max it all out. I'm here for you. I'm here for you. And I see some of the things that DE does and I'm like, maybe I'm just not going to give you my feedback. And let's be real, DE has a whole slew of partners that they could get feedback from, but they're not reaching out to them. At least they're not reaching out to me for sure. Well, for some things. But that's going to be kind of like the topics that I wanted to go ahead and cover today. I feel like I've been chatting for a while, and I feel like it's really, really heavy topics. So let me know how you guys feel. Maybe you guys want to put out some ideas for some game modes down in the comments that you think would keep veterans interested, or maybe you have your own feelings about the content creators quitting the game. Toss that in the comments as well. I am going to leave you guys with a little bit of a cliffhanger. I was thinking of kind of like doing these videos maybe as an addition to the Nightwave, like maybe we do the weekly Nightwave and then have a little bit of a topic discussion. And I have this great comment from _Shay_. What do you think about YouTubers quitting Warframe? Is it something that you've considered? I hope not. I swear to God, I did not write this myself, but they said this. I really enjoy your content and your sexy, manly input into the game. You make me feel real good. So I was actually thinking of dedicating a chunk of maybe like a video or like a topic to all of the times I've considered quitting Warframe, because there were plenty of those. Regardless, let me know how you felt about this video. I hope that you were able to pull something positive out of it, because legit, I want Warframe to do good. I'm cheering for them. I really, really am. And while I say don't necessarily take them seriously, I have fun with what they put out, and then I just put it down. I don't become as invested as I used to, because I don't feel like they're invested in our end of the community. Ooh, it's so sad to say. Toss all your feelings down in the comments below. I'm gonna skedaddle right now before anything else comes out. So that about does it for me for now. And as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body. Please don't hate me. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.